Are you treating decluttering like a once and done project? That might be why you're having a hard time. I'm Misty Winkler, and you're watching Simply Convivial. Inside Simply Convivial Continuing Education, I help women beat overwhelm and perfectionism through simple baby steps so we can love being homemakers. We practice being both productive and happy as moms at home. So every week, I host a live 30-minute seminar on a particular topic that we are practicing. Today, I want to share a clip from February when we were practicing decluttering. One problem we all have with decluttering is thinking that we'll be finished with it at some point. But decluttering is actually an ongoing process. So during this seminar, we talked about getting decluttering traction. People shared their tips, and we talked about what holds us up in the decluttering process. I wanted to share this clip from that seminar with you today. Maybe try decluttering while you listen. Let's dig in. We're going to chat today about how to get decluttering traction, which I bet several of you are already experiencing. So tell me in the chat too, what does traction feel like? What does it look like? What is traction, especially with something like decluttering? Kathy says that she's surprised how much can be accomplished in a short time. Yes, Megan says, every time I do a 10-minute session, I wonder why I've put it off for months. Yes, traction is motivation to keep going. Yeah. Joanna says that she's come to terms that decluttering is a habit and not a project, especially with a family home. The thing is, our lives are not static. They don't stay the same. Our needs change. What we're doing with our lives changes, and that means that the stuff changes. We do have to be constantly evaluating and clearing space and giving things homes. It's like paying the bills or getting the mail. We can filter through a backlog of mail that's accumulated, and that's a project. But then still, there's always mail arriving most days. And so we have to then just deal with it as it comes to not let it pile up into that project state again. And it's the same thing with clutter because there's always stuff coming and going from our house. And that's because we're living full, busy, productive lives. So that means that mess is happening. Things are accumulating. Things are coming and going. And especially just in 10-minute chunks, it ends up being not that big of a deal to just take care of a spot. There you go. Judy is going to declutter her supply cabinet right now. The biggest problem that we tend to have is needing to deal with stuff that actually doesn't even have a home. And giving things homes is one of the main factors in getting decluttering traction. One of the things that I tell my kids pretty often is that we are putting things away. We're not just moving the piles. The point isn't to move the mess to a different spot. It's to put things back in their homes. So you're not really doing anything but wasting time under certain circumstances. I just move messes sometimes to the less visible spot to deal with later. There are times where we do need to do that, but we need to recognize that we're not actually dealing with the problem. We're just moving the problem out of the way for now, but not dealing with it. And moving the problem isn't the same thing as dealing with the problem. So we have to be honest about what we're actually doing. But decluttering is dealing with the problem. It is putting things in their right home. And that might mean the trash can. That might mean Goodwill, giving it to friends. But the important part of decluttering is figuring out what needs to be given a home in your home? What are the things that just move from spot to spot because they don't actually have a place to live? And then if they have no place to live, why is that happening? Is that because you just haven't thought about it? Maybe it's because it is temporary. There can be all kinds of reasons, but thinking about it, just calling it out to ourselves and saying, okay, this doesn't have a home. So I'm not going to actually make any decluttering progress until these things have a home. So a big part of decluttering, Amy says, my laundry room, because I seem to keep thinking that when it's done, it will stay all nice. But just think about a laundry room that will stay nice is a laundry room that's not used. Because a laundry room that is used has cleaner, that the laundry detergent that will get out of place, lint that has to collect and go in the trash, clothes in and out. That means mismatched socks, hangers, sometimes clean clothes, sometimes dirty clothes. A lot of things move in and out of the laundry room because that's what the laundry room is for. So there's not a problem when the laundry room collects things. That's only happening because it's being used and it's working and people are doing laundry. So it's a good thing. And we just need to work in that rotation of dealing with it every so often and not letting it build up in our own heads. So that's a huge project that I'm going to have to wait until I have an hour or 2 hours and just say, okay, I'm going to go in there for 10 minutes. Let's see what I can do. But as you collect clutter, the things that don't have homes, you can ask yourself, does this not have a home because I only need it a couple times a year? So I don't really need to give it a clear, organized spot on one of my shelves that I don't have enough of in my house. So I really should just leave it in the garage where if I know where it is and I can get it when I need it, or is it something where I don't know where this belongs? I don't really know what it's for. It belongs to someone else and we need to have a conversation. There can be all kinds of things going on with that. Yes, it's like an onion, Janelle says. Deal with what you can and then come back for more later. You just keep going. Oh, that's great. So Sarah uses the temporary home as a strategy, which is perfectly legitimate. So I love that, Sarah. She says, I have a temporary bin for things that move regularly if I have a regular time to empty it. So I keep a bowl on my bathroom counter to throw jewelry into when I get undressed at night. When I clean my bathroom once a week, all the earrings go back on the jewelry hanger in the closet. It's just a process that is functional. And that means that the bowl is the home for the ear. Even though it's not the permanent home, the bowl is a temporary home. And there's a plan in place for dealing with that. Yes, decluttering is taking care of the things that don't have homes. So you're making sure that the space you're decluttering now only has the things that actually belong there. So in the case of table, that might be nothing. So decluttering is clearing the table. But then organizing is putting things away in a orderly fashion. So time's up for this episode of Simply Convivial. Convivial is exactly what we want our homes to be. Full of life, lively, festive, friendly, enjoyable. We as moms are the atmosphere of our homes, and that means we need to be convivial. And that's what we practice and grow inside Simply Convivial Continuing Education. We have courses, community, accountability, daily texts, weekly seminars, and monthly meetups so that we stay engaged and accountable in the duties that God has assigned to us at home. We want to grow in responsibility, grow in fruitfulness, grow in faithfulness. And that's what we stay focused on together inside Simply Convivial Continuing Education. We'd love to have you join us. You can learn more or enroll by clicking the green enroll button up in the top corner at simplyconvivial.com. No matter what page you're on, in the upper right, there's a green enroll button that you can click so you can join us and overcome overwhelm and perfectionism so you can love being a homemaker. We do that by repenting, rejoicing, and repeating.